Hello everyone, welcome to Ansible Learning Series for Network Engineers. In this video, we'll see how to do Cisco device configuration compliance check using Ansible. For this demonstration, I'll be using one of the module from Cisco IOS collections. We'll use IOS NTP global module. You can see here, IOS NTP module is going to get replicated by end of 2023. So I'll be using this particular module. If you see the documentation of this, so you can see here, if you're using Ansible package, you might already have this collection installed. This means in Ansible community, you will already have this package. And if you're using Ansible core, you have to manually install it. Regarding Ansible community and Ansible core, last month I have uploaded 2 videos. In this particular playlist, video number 33 and 34. In 33, I have explained how to install Ansible core and community in different virtual environments, and in the next video I demonstrated how to create an inventory for connecting to Cisco device. I can show you the environment which we created. This environment which we created is having Ansible latest, and this was having only Ansible core VNV2. And in PyCharm, I'll be using this particular directory 19_Ansible learning for this demo. And here you can see I already have a file 01 test inventory. So this file also I created during the previous demo. And this playbook is just printing the facts and getting the configuration file and inventory file. And if you see the inventory file, here I have 3 routers, 2 VIOS routers and 1 CSR, and both of these groups added under routers group, and all these variables are configured here. All these also I have explained in the previous video. And first I'll run this particular playbook and show you the output. Ansible playbook. So here in my base machine I haven't installed Ansible. So what we need to do, we need to get into this particular virtual environment. First let us get into the virtual environment. Source /VENV1 Ansible latest bin activate. So here I will have Ansible playbook command. So here we have Ansible community installed. So here let me run the playbook first. 01 test inventory. So this is just printing the configuration file and host file. And here I have given gather facts false. If I give true here, this will connect to both devices and gets the Ansible facts. And I already have a config file here. And if you see the config file, line number 137, so I'm directing this to this particular inventory file. Now here I'll create a new playbook for our config compliance check. I will call this 02_ Cisco IOS compliance.YAML. And here I'll give a name. Cisco NTP compliance. Then suppose I will call this particular group, IOS group, then I'll give gather facts false. If I give yes, or if I don't give this, by default this will go and gather facts from all the devices. So this will add some delay for script execution, but in certain conditions, if you want to get the facts of the device, you need to enable this. In this case, we are going to get only NTP config, so I'm just disabling this, and then need to give the task, and task name I will call get NTP config. And you see this particular module documentation. To use it in playbook, you need to specify in this format. So we'll give this format, copy this, I'll type it here, _ios NTP _global. Now in the documentation, you can see you want to check whether this particular collection is installed. You can execute command ansible-galaxy collection list. If you want, we can just try before even writing the playbook. Ansible-galaxy collection list. Since I'm using the community version, I already have this. It's using Cisco IOS 4.3.1. This is having all the modules which you can see in the collection list. And if you don't have that, you're using Ansible-core, you can install it using this command. So let us continue writing the playbook. And here, the first parameter is config. You can see that in the documentation here. First we need to give the config, then we need to give the servers. Let me search for so you need to give servers, and under servers you need to give each server IP. We'll configure that. Config, under that servers, then need to give each server. So this will be list. We can give multiple servers here. First I'll give 10.1.1 and I'll register the entire script execution into a variable, like this output into a variable, register NTP check. Now we'll try printing even this output. We'll give a name, print output, and ansible.builtin.debug. Even you can just give the debug here, only debug, but it is recommended to give the FQCN, fully qualified collection name. Now here we'll do a print NTP check. So let us try running. We'll try running first this only on one particular router. You can see the host here, 61. Ansible playbook 02. You can see the status here. is saying configuration has been changed. So I already have 3 servers in this particular router. Let me check the config. So run pipe include NTP. So now this has added even 10.1. You can see the after state of the config and before state. Before I had 10.2 and 3. Now this has added 10.1.1. Now next time when I run it, so it is not changing because it is already compliant. But if you want to override all the other config with only this config, what we can do is, here you can give state replaced. Now let us try running this. You can see the commands this executed. This has given no to the previously configured 2 additional NTP servers. Now if you verify the config here, so this will have only 1 NTP. Now imagine I want to change this to another IP. So this will give node to the previous NTP and configure new one. You can see in the commands. In the commands you can see this is configuring 10.2 and giving no to 10.1. Now if you want to just check whether it is compliant or not, you can give --check. So this won't make any changes to the device. We give --check. So now this is compliant. For example, if I change this to 3, now the desired config is going to be 10.3. We'll try running. So this is the command. This will execute. But if you see the config here, the playbook is not making any changes. So here we are able to see whether the config is compliant or not, and we can see even the commands. Now here if you want to add multiple NTP servers, you can give another server 10.1.1.4, and we can even add multiple devices here. The group name was 𝗣𝗚 group, 𝗣𝗚 group, and this will be running on R1 and R2. Later we'll see how to convert this into a variable. Like you can have list of IPs and from there we can fetch it and configure the device. So here both devices are out of compliant now. In R2 this is already having 10.3. we can verify that. So this is already having the IP3, so that is why it is adding this particular IP. So now we'll write a condition to identify non-compliant devices. For that, what we can do, You notice here we are getting a condition called changed true. With this condition we can identify non-compliant devices. And first, even to simulate compliant device, what we can do in R2, I will add even NTP server 10.1.1.4. Now we check here, the changed condition for R2 is going to be false. So now changed is coming for only R1. That means R2 is compliant. So if we need to print only non-compliant devices, we can write a condition here. Or we'll use the same output. NTP config is not compliant on inventory hostname. And later we'll be putting more messages here, so I'm just putting it as a list. And we'll put a when condition for this particular task. We'll say when NTP check the output dot changed. If the changed status is true, this will print, else this won't print. So now we'll try running. So now you can see it is printing only for R1. And if you want to print even the commands, we'll add that also. Currently available servers and NTP check dot before, and even we'll print the commands. I'll copy this. Be configured using commands, and we'll give the commands here. So we'll try running this. So in R1, now we have only this particular server configured, 10.1.2, and to be configured using these commands. Since we have given state replaced, this is going to replace available config with only these two servers. Now here, instead of this inventory hostname, if you want to get the IP address, what we can do, can use the host vars variable, and within host vars we will have a key called R1, so we need to access that. So inventory host name is going to be R1, and from there so there is another key called ansible host. So this will be taking this particular data from the inventory. So it is coming in host vars, then the inventory host name and ansible host. We can try running this. So now we are getting the device IP address. Now if you remove the NTP config from this particular device, even both will show us non-compliant. So now both are not compliant. We need to add one server here. Now if I remove check, this will make the configuration changes to the device. Now if you verify the device, you will have the config available. If you run it again, it will say configuration is compliant. And in the later videos, we'll see how to pass this as a variable. We'll create a YAML file. From there, we'll read all this list of IPs. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.